Okay. So to start out with, we each need to choose a topic that we want to like go over, and we talk about it, like how it affects the workplace, like how it impacts the people around them, like the people that you're working with. And the different topics are like substance abuse, divorce, family issues, work-home balance, and same-sex marriage, and workplace dating/relationships. And then let's see, think about how you would address the issue in the workplace. So if each of you guys just want to pick one of the topics, and then we kind of just talk about it. So whatever one you want.
I'll pick substance abuse.
Okay. I'll do same-sex relationships because I have a pretty good story with that.
Ooh.
I have, well, I know a coworker that went through divorce. So,
There we go.
All right.
Cool.
hey, Esther.
Oh, is she there?
Yep,
Hey.
I see her.
Sorry, I was looking at the other thing. So
She's on mute.
yeah. You know you're on mute, Esther. Okay, well.
We were just picking some of these topics to talk about, Esther, and so there's work-home balance or workplace dating/relationships.
And then, oh yeah, you were doing substance abuse and Teresa divorce, medicine. Is there one that you want to do, Esther? Between divorce or no, work and home balance or workplace dating/relationships? We can't hear you. Okay, well, I guess we'll just keep going. All right, well, okay, so it says, ask members of the group to consider sharing their own life experiences as well as what they have learned in this class about human resource management. Ask them to think about the following as they prepare to share their topics and experiences. Think about how this issue would impact the workplace, and think about how you would address the issue in the workplace. So,
I'll go.
okay, cool.
So substance abuse I picked because I had a couple of stories about a couple of people that I knew that had a problem with that. So there's one guy, and he would sneak out to his car and smoke meth, and this is while he was on duty as a security officer. And he got caught doing that, and they just fired him for it. And then there was another guy that would come to work drunk, and I think he even like crashed his car at work. And for him, I think he completed some kind of program, and then they let him keep his job. So not quite sure. I mean, see, let's think about how this issue would impact the workplace. I mean, for us, where we can be put in an environment where we're, in charge of the safety of a lot of employees. Where if we're compromised in that way, that opens up a lot of liability for the hospital and for somebody could get really hurt. We could get hurt, and other people could get hurt. And so that could be a big deal. Also having, with the guy smoking meth, on the property, that I think that opens up, this, committing a felony on company property um, is not good for business. How would address the issue in the workplace? I don't know. I think I have pretty low tolerance for that kind of thing. I was surprised that they let this guy with the alcohol problem, keep his job. Um, I guess they wanted to keep him. I'm not sure about all the things, but that seems like that would be something you could terminate immediately for. Um, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that that's true. But also, just to throw this in there really quick, it says to when we're going over them, to agree, and then so if we agree, and then if we've seen similar issues, and then ask if anyone else is planning to talk about a similar topic, then invite them to go next. So, just so you guys know, just to agree and whatever.
Okay.
Sorry, guys, I was having technical difficulties.
You're good.
We understand.
Happens.
I could
Esther-
hear you guys.
Okay.
I
So-
just couldn't.
Do you want to pick one of the topics? Do you remember what they were?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay, it's just work/home balance or workplace dating/relationship. And then we just like go over it and say if like we have experienced it in a workplace. And then,
Well, I have a good one for dating and relationships too.
yeah.
I've worked from home a couple different times, so I can do that one.
Okay. I was gonna do a story about Dan's that he was just talking about, the substance abuse. So I was gonna say the story after you got done, but so my cousin, she worked in the hospital as a CNA, and they actually found one of the nurses dead in the, I think it was just in the closet, like, where they go get supplies and stuff. And they actually had found out that she took a lot of like medications and drugs and stuff, and she overdosed. And she died while she was
horrible.
Yeah. Isn't that sad? So it's just like, especially when people are, they're so addicted to something that they have to do it while they're even working. They can't even function without it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like how Dan was saying with the meth that he was doing it while he was working. It's just like, it's crazy. I like that. Probably just really good education. I don't know. And
Yeah, I mean, the question, I guess, would be if somebody came to you and like, listen, I'm having a really hard time with alcoholism, and I'm afraid it's going to be affecting my work. And then you don't want to be like, you're fired. You want to have some compassion and you want to help this guy out and you want to, say he's a good asset to your company. You want to keep him in and, get him connected with some resources that could help.
But you also have to make sure it's not happening at work.
Yeah. I feel like
I think that if a person's going to come to you and, it takes a lot to admit what you've done wrong. And that sounds to me like the first step of wanting help. And if you can get them help and they're willing to actually
do it.
actually do it, do what they need to, or go to counseling or, Alcohol Anonymous, whatever it is. If they're actually doing it, then I think you should be able to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Maybe put them on some kind of medical leave or something,
Yeah.
depending on how severe the situation is.
Yeah, exactly. But I think if they're
Yeah,
willing to get help, I think that's a start.
yeah, it's nice. In some companies, they have resources that you can get hooked up with.
Yeah.
Especially some of the bigger companies.
Yeah. And like where they would trust someone too, like trust their boss enough to go tell them and be like, I really need help. Then I don't know if anyone would be able to just fire someone or, not want to help them. Like just going to them. So I don't even know how many people would do that.
Yeah. Maybe once they realized they got caught or something, like.
They're like, well, I'm in trouble now. Better go.
Yeah. But it amazes me okay, so I work in a hospital where we have 2 brand new physicians right out of residency. And so most of our patients are drug seeking patients. And, every time, and it never fails, every time I say, what are you coming in for? And they'll say, oh, back pain. I'm like, yeah, drug seeker. I mean, not always, but most likely, 90% of the time, that's what they are. And I know I really can't talk about certain situations, but I know some people who get so addicted to narcotics that they go from doctor to doctor and get prescriptions for different pharmacies, and sometimes they literally have a panic attack and they walk in, they can't even remember where they got their last drugs from.
It's really crazy. I've seen someone on drugs that's addicted to them and they were trying to get off of them, and it was like, I don't think that sometimes we realize that it really is something that like people actually their body needs. They've gotten to the point where it's like they need it or they can't function, they can't, and it's crazy that bodies do that.
It's like any addiction, we might be addicted to buying books, or we just can't live without a book. I don't know. But maybe that sounds simple, but at the same time, it's still an addiction.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law, she went on a mission in Maine, and when she got back, I thought she was, I don't know, like so righteous, you know what I mean? I don't know how to say that. She was just better than any other LDS person out there. I don't know. Anyway, I know she sent us an article about chocolate, caffeine in chocolate. And she wouldn't eat chocolate cake at birthday parties anymore. And we were like, seriously? So finally, I asked my brother one time, I said, why does Mary Jane, oh, sorry, I gave her name away. But anyway, why does Mary Jane not eat chocolate anymore? And my brother says, why don't you ask her? I was really scared to ask her, but I finally did. And she told me the story that when she was on her mission, she was teaching a lady who just could not give up her coffee. And so Mary Jane said that, well, you love your coffee. I will give up something that I love, and I love chocolate. So I'm going to give up chocolate if you will give up your coffee. And so I asked her, I said, did the lady give up her coffee and get baptized? She goes, I have no idea, because she ended up being sent home it was her time to leave off her mission. And so she came home from her mission, and she doesn't know if the lady ever quit her coffee and got baptized, but she's kept her commitment, and she has never to this day had chocolate.
Holy cow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I had to eat my words.
I think I'd follow up
I
on
guess
that
she's
one.
not so holier than thou.
That is so cool. I don't
Yeah.
know if I could do that.
Shut the door, please.
Okay. Well, should we keep going? I can tell you guys my
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
story or whatever. Okay, so I was working in a nursing home as a CNA, and we were working up here at the Idaho Rehab, and there was this girl that worked there, and she's probably like in her late 20s, maybe early 30s, I don't know. But she was gay, and she like made it pretty open. Like she didn't really care that people knew, and so pretty much everyone knew. And the facility got shut down, and they shipped us all up to Rexburg because they were just like the same company. And so when we got there, she like found this. Okay, well, I guess I won't say that yet. So there was this girl, this other lady that was there that was probably about the same age, and she had a daughter, and she was married before, and she was divorced, and so people didn't really like, think that she was gay or anything. But like after it was probably just like 6 months that we all were like working together and stuff, that you could tell that they were like getting closer, and it was just kind of like really awkward and just, it's like kind of weird when things happen like that and you're like around them, you're kind of just like, this is really weird. But
I just have the shivers.
Yeah. So they started like dating and stuff, and I don't know if she was gay before, but I mean, she was married to a man and had a baby and everything, so it was really weird.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, and so it like got to the point where it was like they still would work, but it was like, when you're like with your husband or with your like significant other, that, or like even with your friends, that you're gonna sit there and you're gonna talk instead of like do work, and like sit there and flirt or whatever instead of do work, or So it was like you almost had to pick up the slack for them because they were sitting there like, I don't know. But anyways, they ended up getting married actually, and they're still married. So
that works for workplace dating as well.
yeah, it does for that as well. So kind of crazy, but it was just like the biggest issue that I saw was that it made people like feel uncomfortable. It didn't really make the patients very much because I don't think that they really knew what was going on. But like the workers and stuff, like we all knew, and it just kind of made it like uncomfortable for us all. And then it was kind of like they would take breaks together, and then we wouldn't have as many people there to be working, because they'd want to always have their break together, and then they'd come back and they'd always want to be talking together, and then everyone would have to be, picking up the slack. So just that way too, that it was just kind of like, it was just annoying that you just had to pick up the slack for someone else when they were, I don't know, being weird.
Yep.
So, yeah. And I don't know. I don't really know how I would address that. I feel like that's really hard. Maybe just because I even think that the the director of nursing and stuff, I even think that a lot of them knew because they were pretty open about it. I mean, they didn't really care. So, and it didn't really seem like anyone did anything about it. So
I have one I want to share too.
Okay.
So I worked with a guy that he was gay, but not like that, but he was a drag queen. And so he was very, very flamboyant about it and was constantly talking about inappropriate things. And it wasn't just, he was over the top, purposely trying to get people's reaction. He was always, saying things to try to, get people to really get people upset. And so most of the time we just ignored him. But a lot of times, because his other job made it so he worked really, really late, the next morning, because I worked at a bakery, so I worked the 2 a.m. shift. So it was really rough for just even me trying to get there, that early. But he would pull an all-nighter being a drag queen in Pocatello, so he had to drive clear back up here to Rexburg. And so he was up all night. So he was belligerent because he just got to the point where he was rude and ornery, and it was really affecting his work also. But the fact that he was gay, he made sure that we all knew that he was untouchable as far as he was concerned, because he couldn't get fired, or he couldn't get, and it was way more than just the fact that he was gay. It was affecting his work. So what he worked there for 12 years, and what ended up happening is we got a new manager and they just transferred him. Nobody wanted to deal with the way he acted and the way he treated everybody. So instead of actually dealing with it, they transferred him to a different store and gave the problem to somebody else. So that's how they dealt with it. But
Well, that's one way you could do it.
Yeah.
I worked with him for 7 months, and it was rough. It was hard because he just was very. He wanted to flash it and then upset, purposely upset people by some of the crude remarks and the inappropriate stuff, and
Yeah.
so it was very uncomfortable.
I've seen people like that are like, I don't know. It's like they're so proud that they're like that, and then they are just like, think they're untouchable, like you said, and it's just like, holy cow.
So instead of getting rid of him because he really didn't do his job very well. I mean, he did, except for the nights he was out all night. So he worked well enough that they didn't really have something to fire him for. But he pushed it as hard as he could to try to upset people and say, well, you can't fire me because I'm gay, and so I'll sue you, So it was a mess.
Sounds like it.
I think that if I were to handle that, I think I would just treat it like any other relationship. Like maybe pull them in and just say, it doesn't matter who you're dating, whether it's male or female, it doesn't matter, but there is a place and a time, and
Yeah. I think
just, I don't know, it'd have to be a crucial conversation, definitely, but I would just let them know, like if that's what they're choosing to do, fine, but they need to respect others as well.
And I think just like telling them that it's affecting their work and that, they're not doing a very good job. So they need to.
Their work and everybody's around them as well.
Or you could just like put them on different shifts and stuff too, Maybe.
That's true too. Yeah.
Just not let them have the opportunity to ever work together.
The only experience I have with the whole dating thing is kind of a positive one, actually. But I know there's 2 people at work that they started working at the hospital when they were 18, just right out of high school. They could have been there when they were 16. I'm not sure, as a volunteer. And they started dating. They got married, and they're still at the hospital, and they've been working there for like 35 years.
Oh.
So they're kind of like our hospital, I don't know, like, how you say like your high school sweetheart? Like our hospital sweethearts. So it's kind of cool. One of them works in the he's an EMT, and the other one works in the business office. Sometimes they're together. She works back in the emergency room, and he's an EMT, but that's kind of cool. I know one of the biggest rules is like immediate family cannot work side by side. So, but other than that, we can.
So do we have divorce, family issues, and we have work-home balance? Do we need to cover them all, or are we just supposed to?
I just think just one per person. So just whatever one. you have and Teresa has.
Well, I can do either because they both apply to me. So I work full time out of the home, and I've got kids at home, and then I've actually been divorced, and then my parents are divorced, so I could do either one.
The only one I have is divorce. So.
Okay, so you do that one, and I'll do the other one.
Okay, so I have a coworker who she had a divorce. She's been divorced twice. And the first time she was divorced, I did not know her, but she just listening to her on the phone a lot. She would always have to call her kids all the time, and then she was always trying to make arrangements with my kids to go to their dads this week or that week, and she was trying to do all their arranging at work, and then she would get me involved because she was like, "You're so organized. Can you help me be more organized?" And I was like, "Wait, no, we're here to work, you know." I don't know, maybe sometime after work or something we can get together at lunchtime or something like that, but not during work. And like at 3 o'clock, her kids would be home from school, so she'd always have to call them. And it really started bothering me a lot because I'm trying to do my work, and then she wasn't like in her own little cubicle having a private conversation. It was where everybody could hear. So I started thinking, that's kind of cool actually that she calls her kids and checks up on them. I don't even do that. My kids don't even call me because they know that if it's an emergency, I'm not going to talk to them because I'm working. So I almost started putting in my phone like a little alarm that would go off at 3:10 because I knew my kids got off the school bus at that time. I would try to call them and talk to them for a minute. It kind of really didn't work out for me that well, and I knew my kids were fine. So anyway, I was trying to find positive in it so that I would not dislike her, but try to find something good about her that I could implement in my own life. But anyway, and then the thing that kind of really bothered me the most, though, is she found out that her second husband I guess he sings in a band, and he would travel to Salt Lake, and he would go to places and sing. And she was kind of curious about why her husband would only come home on the weekends for a while. And I guess she talked to the manager, and I don't know how she did this, but somehow she got like a promotion at work so that she could get on at the hospital in Salt Lake, so she could go and live with him in Salt Lake for a while, which I was kind of excited at first because I'm like, yeah, I don't have to deal with this anymore. But she ended up going to Salt Lake and living with him for a while and found out that he was cheating on her and got a divorce. There was another job opening back here in Burley, and I was going to take that position. I went and talked to my manager about it. She asked me why I wanted it, and I said, well, because it's $1 raise. And she said, well, I can help you with that. And she ended up hiring this girl back, and the position was completely different than what the opening was for. She ended up being the clinic coordinator and not just a receptionist. So that was a little frustrating. But yet she went to HR and changed my title so that I could get my $1 raise so that I would be happy. And then this girl got the clinic coordinator position. And I was like, really? How do you do that? But anyway, so she's back at the hospital now, and I don't know, it kind of hasn't ended there, but I mean, it's just really interesting how she's kind of like scatterbrained. I don't know how to say that. I hope she's not listening to us. But and she runs the office that way. I know. But you know what I mean? She runs the office that way because that's what her life is. So, I don't know. That's just kind of my experience with it. And I know, like, my manager I'm sure she cares about her. I care about her too. I really do. And you want to help them, and you want to help them get back on their feet, and she needs to be able to, she's a single mom, needs to take care of her 3 kids, so she probably needed that position. But I don't know. You guys aren't saying anything.
That's a really good example. I don't,
Waiting for you to get done, that's all.
Oh, I'm done. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, it's hard to know what she's, going through. It's
Yeah.
hard, especially with it being her second marriage and that fell apart too. It's got to be rough, but I understand that it can affect everybody, especially if she's in a position of leadership. If it's going to trickle down and affect everybody else too.
Yeah.
Sure.
I have tried to just, when I know that she does not keep up on things, so I will go over and ask her, like, what do you have a pile of that you need me to help you with? What are you behind on? Let me help you. And I'll go and get stuff and help her out that way. And I do it for her, but more or less, I'm doing it for everybody else that's in the clinic as well. So,
not everyone falls behind. Or
yeah.
does.
It's not my clinic. We're kind of tied together. There's 3 clinics. There's a main manager. She's a clinic coordinator. I'm a clinic coordinator now over the new doctor. So, and we work together, kind of. We're in different clinics, but we work together.
Sounds like you're trying to be the bigger person, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, I don't really feel like I have any control over it, but you know what I mean? So I guess you just do what you can do.
Right.
She's not a member of the church, so you want to plant a seed, and I don't know.
Sometimes that's all you can do.
Yeah.
But it was pretty surprising, like she had an issue where her ex-husband was sexually molesting her youngest child, and
Oh,
yeah, so she was on the phone out loud in front of everybody during work time. Yeah.
that's gotta be hard.
Yeah.
It sounds like she's had a pretty rough life anyway.
Yeah.
Everything. It's too bad. It's hard.
Daniel's quiet.
Okay, should we move on to work-home balance?
Yes.
That'd be good.
Okay, and so am I just supposed to talk about how I balance it, or just somebody that I've worked with, or do you know?
It says how it would impact the workplace. So probably like you could probably do it for yourself, like how it impacts how you're able to work at your house.
Well, for instance, I actually just changed jobs because the job that I was at, I really, really loved, but it just was not family friendly because they expected so much of me, and I had to be there I was gone 10 hours a day and only getting paid 7, mostly for my commute, and they forced you to take an hour lunch, things like that. And so it really was affecting too much of my home life that I had to actually change jobs. But really, with my situation, the work-home balance, my husband plays a big part in it. My older son plays a big part in it and I'm obviously in school as well. But if we weren't all just working as a team, and so my youngest kids are 7 and 9, and so there's got to be somebody at home at all times. So if the 2 youngest are home, someone has to be here. And so between my husband and I have different schedules, and then our older son, and used to be sons. I have one on a mission now, but my 2 older boys would help with the kids. And so we just kind of had to all be a team. Somebody just had to be home. For a while, when I was working at the bakery, I worked the 2 a.m. shift because my youngest was still in kindergarten. And so I worked from 2 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and then he got off school at 11 a.m. And then my husband would come home and then I'd go back to sleep. So we just had to just had to juggle it. Just somebody always had to be home. And as far as how it affects the workplace, I just made sure that it didn't. Like if I would wait for breaks to call the house, or I just wouldn't answer my phone, or my husband has a flexible enough job that he could answer the phone, so all the schools and stuff have his number instead of mine. But like I said, I just changed jobs, and I'm working here in town now, and I'm actually able to have my cell phone on me now. So we just kind of had to work. I just had to work until I was able to get a better position, going to school and things, and making it work. But I definitely didn't allow it to cause problems at work. Like I said, they would call Dad instead of Mom, and now they can call me as well. So the kids just had to, figure out who. But there was always somebody. We always, one of us is always accessible, so that at least the kids. We've never had to put our kids in daycare, even though both of us work and go to school. We've never had to use daycare. We just, work it out where one of us is available.
Wow. That would be hard too.
Did I tell you guys we have 7 kids? I don't know if I told you that.
We're the same, Esther. I have 7 as well.
Nice.
Oh,
Good number.
My oldest is 23 and my youngest is 7.
holy cow.
I don't know if I tell you mine. My oldest is 30 and my youngest is 8.
Nice. That's a little bit wider stretch than mine.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
There's 4 years between my youngest and my oldest grandchild.
I actually have the exact same.
Huh.
My baby is almost 8 and my grandson is 4.
Yeah.
And then I have a 2-year-old granddaughter. So I have 2 grandbabies.
Well, with 7 kids, you can definitely balance your life and balance your work schedule. That's for sure.
That's why we're organized here.
I couldn't, when I was a single mom, because I was married to my first husband for 13 years and had my first 5 kids.
Uh-huh.
And then I got married again and we had 2 together. So they're all mine, but I have the 2, got married twice. And the first time around, my first husband wasn't any help at all. And so I had to do most of it by myself. So that was really hard. So marrying a man that is willing to have a different schedule, that's there for the kids, that I can trust and everything, that's been really helpful.
Good.
And so I did make it work with my first, but the kids, I think, suffered for it. But this time around, someone's always here for them.
Good.
Yeah. It takes a lot to be able to juggle and to work it around so that one of you is always home.
Yeah.
That's tough. I can see you picking up your kindergartner and coming home and wanting to fall asleep on it. It's so hard to stay awake.
It was so rough.
Yeah.
That was a rough time, but it was just something I had to do to get him through kindergarten. Yeah. Now that all my kids are in all-day school, that's been a huge blessing.
Yeah, I bet that's helpful.
It was 3 years of half-day school. That was hard.
Ugh.
I did 2 years I did a year of preschool, a year of Head Start, and then a year of kindergarten, and they were all half-day. And that was hard. But they're all in all-day school now, and
you survived.
I survived. Now I'm just working and going to school.
That's good. That's cool.
So I don't know if anybody else has something to add or if that's good.
I don't have anything. I think that's good.
I do have something to add. Do college while you're young, or you have a house full of kids.
I'm sure it's a lot harder when you.
Kelsey, while you're young, you're the only one that's still young.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hard to have a full-time job, deal with 7 kids, grandkids, and try to get your homework done on time. Get their homework done on time. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. Well, I'm almost there anyway, so as long as I can make it one more semester and an internship, then I'll be done.
That's awesome. That's so great.
As long as I can make it.
You can make it.
You can do it.
Yeah, I hope. This semester's like been really hard. My classes.
Yeah.
You can do it. You're almost there. You only have a week left. You got this.
It's true.
A week left and then Christmas break.
Yeah.
Hey,
Ugh. I have 5 finals. Like,
Wow.
when am I gonna have the time to study for 5 tests? But it's good. Okay.
lots of hard work and lots of prayers.
I know. That's what I've been doing. I've been relying on Heavenly Father to help me a lot. So it's been good though.
But he does.
Yeah.
He does.
He's been helping me a lot. I know that. So it's been good. Okay, so does anyone want to add anything else to any of that? Because we'll move on to the next portion.
I think we can move on.
We're good.
This is wrap up, and there's only 2 things to talk about. So, ask about other issues students see in society that are likely to impact their workplace in the future.
I think,
Technology.
yeah, technology, but I think that this is definitely an entitlement era.
Yeah.
There's a lot of laziness going on.
Oh,
One of the
totally.
things I actually liked a lot was the reading this week because of talking about how we really have to start thinking outside of the box, and people are not going to sit to the 9-to-5 schedule anymore. And I really feel that that's the truth. And I think that it doesn't necessarily mean because they're going to be lazy and not get anything done. But if we can just kind of mold more to, like one of the articles we read said that because we have our smartphones and our iPads and we're on the go, constantly, and we're getting things accomplished all the time, that for them to sit still that long, I just feel like that we're in a different, however, I don't know how to say it. I'm so tired. Anyway, it's
It's a different generation. It's a different era.
and we really can accomplish so much more, so much quicker with our smart everythings.
True.
And so, and I mean, I think it's an entitlement era where but at the same time, I think if we, just like having as many kids as I have and understanding that every single one of them learn differently, they have different personalities, and sometimes you just kind of have to work with them at their level or work with them at their personality and so I just think that society, and of course society is scary and ugly these days too, because of technology, it's allowing in a lot of garbage too, but I also think there's a lot of good that we can accomplish so much.
I agree. I'm on an HR advisory council at work, and there's like 2 people per facility. And it's pretty cool because we have a monthly meeting and we just do it by telepresence. And the first time I went to the telepresence, I took my lunch because I thought, oh, no big deal, I'll just take my lunch with me. Oh my goodness, they could see what I was writing on my piece of paper, let alone everything on my plate. I was so embarrassed. I put my plate under the table. They're like, you can eat, it's okay. And I'm like, not eating in front of everybody, but
That's funny.
yeah, it was really cool though, because I don't know how many facilities there are in Intermountain, but I know we go all the way down to St. George. And so we have 2 people from each facility that were there at that telepresence, and we were talking about HR issues and stuff. So that's pretty cool how technology is really growing, and I think that's a good thing. At the same time, I've had 3 computer program updates, and this last one has been the hardest one so far for a lot of people to catch on, especially those who are, can I say, older than me? Anyway, but it's been hard because they're so used to the way things are and they don't want to make a change, but the change is good, and they don't realize it. But
I remember when we went from ICD-9 to ICD-10. That was a rough one. It was hard.
Yeah. And now we don't even have transcriptionists, and we don't have coders anymore.
That's crazy.
Yep. The physicians do their own coding right on the new program.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that. So we still talk about in our classes coding and stuff, the coding department.
Yeah, they have. I think the big thing is like coders are at home now, and then they just review. Like if an insurance rejects a code, then who's going to replace it? And it would be a coder who does that. It doesn't go back to the physician.
But the physician actually does the coding in the first.
Yep. Yep. We have no in-house coder at our hospital here at all. It's all done corporate.
Where I was working, we had our billers, but our doctors were the ones that would go on after a patient and put all the codes in, and then the billers just kind of would double check and make sure that they did it right before they billed it out. But the doctors were the one that said we used Exam Writer and Office Mate. That's what we used.
Our billing here has two. We only have 2 people that go over bills before they're submitted. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. But it's pretty cool though, because like a patient can come into our office and be seen, and the physician can put in the code right there, and we know exactly what the charge is right immediately in case they want to pay in full that day. Because they just put in the code is attached to their visit.
That's cool.
Really cool.
Yep.
Okay. What's the last question?
All right. So how do we think the workplace will change in the next 10 years?
We kind of started talking about that.
Yeah, we did.
There's technology and
Technology.
Yeah, I think something kind of cool is we have a physician who has a treadmill desk. We've been seeing a lot of like health and fitness stuff. I have a physician who walks on a treadmill all day long, and
Really?
Yep. And my other physician has a stand-up desk. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's really cool. If
You
not,
guys up all day?
it's a desk that you stand up at. I have one at my desk too. It's called the Vera desk. You'll have to look it up. It's pretty
That's
cool.
cool.
And then your chairs, I don't know if you've ever seen, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a ball that you sit on instead of a literal a chair.
Yeah.
like an exercise ball.
Ball, like a exercise ball.
Uh-huh. It looks just like an exercise ball on a platform. It's kind of funny. But I think things are going, healthier, and anything that you can do from home now, or like you said, traveling. Yeah. Or like this Google Hangout.
True. It's kind of like, I don't know why, but it kind of scares me how crazy the technology is getting to be. It's like, where can it go from here,
I know. It just keeps growing.
Yeah, it does. And it's like, where the heck is it going to go? But it's going to go somewhere. It's going to get bigger and better. And it's like, so it's kind of scary,
I'm waiting for, I don't know, maybe this will age me, I don't know. But I don't know how many of you remember the Jetsons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for us to, have the cars that fly and we fly to work. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know, right? We probably will get them one of these days, I'm sure.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll be going to see our patients at their house because they're too sick to get out. We'll just fly over there. I don't know.
I kind of going off with what Esther said earlier about like being entitled and stuff. Like I've definitely noticed that with my generation, just like working with like the people that are the same age as me, and it's just like, I hope that people don't continue to be like this, because it's just, people think they just deserve stuff. I mean, they don't think they need to work for it. And so I don't know if this is how it's going to be in the future or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, maybe people are gonna act like that, and it's just gonna get worse. But people really do, that are like my age, they think they don't need to work for anything and they can just get everything handed to them. And it's crazy. I don't know if people are gonna continue to be like that or what, but
Well, Elder Bednar, when he was the president of BYU Idaho, he kind of put a warning out there in one of the devotionals about that if the entitlement continues and gets any worse, that the spirit of Rick's basically that it's just going to ruin the spirit of BYU Idaho, because and it was back when he was the president, so it's been years ago, that he was warning them that this is an issue, that the entitlement is an issue.
and it's worse now,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, on that happy note, no, just kidding.
I know. On that happy note, we're all done. So, but yeah, really, that's all that we have. So.
We need to talk about doohickeys at all, or is everybody ready and set?
Okay, I'm gonna stop the broadcast now.